Hi, welcome to the Coffee Hour, a show that involves you in verbal interactions. We have the 2020 feature, sports with Brian Camp, and entertainment news with DJ Pete. So settle in with coffee in hand and enjoy the Coffee Hour. Now here's your host, Frank Allan.
Good morning. It's Friday morning in New York City. That's where we originate, and that's where we're coming to you live. Hi, everybody. My name is Frank Allan, and you are entering another phase of the Coffee Hour. We're here every Friday at this time, and those of you who are with us each week, you already know the protocol. We're here for a whole full hour. We get together for a little coffee, donuts, fun, and of course, we have a lot of talk to do. And speaking of all of that, if you're here for the very first time, we invite you to be part of our conversation. That's why we call it Talk Back Live. And how it works is that I get things started as I'm doing now. I'll start the topics, whatever the topics are, and then you can chime in anytime you like, even right now. You could say good morning, you could say hi, howdy, or whatever you want to say. I'll see it right there on the big screen. All you have to do is use your finger muscles and type in on your keyboard, on your computer, your iPhone, and even your pad. What do they call it? The iPad or the tablets? Put it that way. Let's round it off, the tablets. And I will see you right there on the big screen. I will entertain you. And even if there's something in particular like you want to talk about to get inside a topic, we will do that. I will see you right there and I will entertain you and we'll have a lot of fun together. Now, a lot of you may be at work right now. And so I would say, welcome. You may be sitting at your desk right now at the water cooler, depending on what time zone you're in, because we're in different time zones. But if you happen to be in my particular time zone, then I'm pretty sure you're at work right now or just waltzing in. And we want you to take time, and maybe you're even on your coffee break. Now, if you're on your coffee break, all you have to do is just take that coffee break and stay at your desk. Have your coffee break at your desk, that 15-minute coffee break that's allowed to you, and watch us. And even after your coffee break is over, you can still stay there, remain, and watch the show and work at the same time, what they call multitasking. Now, those of you who are here for the very first time, we come on 3 different places. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. And all you have to do is pick one of those wherever you're watching right now. But if you happen to be watching on Facebook at this particular moment, what I want you to do is take the show and tag it to all of your friends. I know you have a lot of friends on your Facebook page. Now, maybe you have more than you can handle. I don't know. Select a few. Select 2, select 3, the more the merrier. When you tag them, they'll see that notification and they will click that notification knowing it's coming from you, and it will bring them right here. They'll see you, they'll see me and everyone else that's involved here. And by the way, you can talk to everyone else who comes in and happens to want to be part of the conversation. Now, if you're part of that conversation, if you want to be part of the conversation, we want to ask you, if you give us your weather forecast. You know, different parts around the world, you know, we have weather forecasts, right? And mine may be different from yours, and yours may be different from someone else's, let's say someone overseas, because we're all around the world. We're global. Anywhere you go on God's green earth, we're right there with you. So we thank you so much for being along with us. Remember that all of the views and the opinions expressed on this show, the Coffee Hour, does not necessarily reflect the view or the opinion of the people of Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Zoom, or any kind of social media outlet or broadcast facility. So that being said, let's get going. Let's start it off right now. Let's raise our cups, our glasses, or whatever you have. I have coffee. Besides, what would the Coffee Hour be without a little coffee? So, excuse me while I shoot up. That's delicious. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Now, we said already, you know, when you come in, give us your weather forecast. If you happen to be living in the New York area, in the vicinity of New York City, somewhere in that vicinity, don't have to worry about it. Upstate is different. New York is a big place, but upstate is different. But if you're in the vicinity of New York City, You don't have to worry about giving us your weather forecast if you're coming in, because I will take care of that for you. That'll be coming along in just a few minutes from now. Later on in the program, we do what we normally do. We have our 2020 feature, and we have sports update coming along. That comes on 20 past the hour, and 22 the hour, we have news entertainment, and all of those birthdays will be recited of all the people of notoriety. All of that's coming up. Brian Camp usually comes in. We usually link up with him. You usually get a chance to see him live on the air. Brian is off for today, but he will be back next week. So he was kind enough to send us his information. And so we will be doing sports in his place. DJ Pete is also off. So I'm all alone today. So we've got DJ Pete's information. So I'm all alone today. I am solo. I don't know what to do. But we're going to get through the show. You and me. It's just you and me, kid. You and me, babe. We're all going to be here together. So that's the way it goes right now. Sports coming up. Also, later on in the program, too, I have all of those great movies that you know and love so well, those classic movies that I picked from Turner Classic Movies. Now, each week, what I do is I have my picks of the week for the weekend. For those of you who want to indulge in catching up on old movies in conjunction with whatever you do on the weekend, one of them may be catching up on movies. Well, I have a few that I'm going to add to your bucket list of movies to watch. That's all coming up. It's all coming up right on the show. So I just want to say hello to all of you guys. A lot of people are coming in, bouncing in on Facebook, being idle. That's okay. You could be idle. It's okay. Bouncing in on Instagram and, of course, YouTube. Now, keep in mind that, like I said, we come from 3 different places. Now, I said you can tag the show if you're watching us on Facebook. I also encourage you who are watching us on YouTube to subscribe to my YouTube channel. You're on there right now. Subscribe to it. You'll see that button right there that says subscribe. Take your mouse and click onto it. That's all it takes. No money involved. It's free. You don't have to have a note from the doctor or the nurse or your mother or your father, unless, of course, you're under 18, but then now you have to be monitored, right? But we prefer people over 18 to watch the show, just out of respect to the parents. That's what we want to promote. But the rest of you, you're coming in and you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and then you're in. Because when you subscribe to the YouTube channel, that gives you a chance to know when we come on live. You'll see the notification when we come on live, or even if we post a video of some sort, you'll see the information is right there. And a subscription to my YouTube channel would certainly be appreciative. I really would appreciate that very much. So we have so many things to talk about today and a lot of things to do. And so let's get busy right now. It's a beautiful day right now in New York for the time being. I'll give you that weather forecast because that weather, I got to tell you, well, I might as well pull it to you straight. And while I'm pulling it to you straight, I might as well, read the weather right now. It's the most important thing to do. So I'm going to punch up the weather forecast right now, see what we got here. Let's see. Let's see if I can find it, first of all. Let's see. I know I had it there somewhere. Sometimes you don't. Let me see if I have it here. Do I have it here? I guess I don't. Okay, so I'm going to have to find it. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to go in and find it. I'm going to have to go into the database. It's a good thing about technology. You have a database full of everything that you want to find. And so let's see what we have here. The weather, Central Time, weather. Okay, I'm going down the list. I'm going down the list, folks, to find this weather and see if we can get a hang of it. And let's see, do we have it? I guess we do. There it is right there, right there, right there. Okay, so we do have it. And so we are going to tell you right now what the present temperature is. Now, for the past few days, we've had some pretty warm weather, and today is not going to be any different. As a matter of fact, today is a little bit warmer since the past couple of days. Right now, it's after 10 o'clock Eastern here in New York City, and we have 61 degrees presently, 61 degrees outside. The sun is out, but I got to tell you, today's weather forecast is going to be the best out of the weekend. All right, so let me just let you know that right off front. It's going to be the best day out of the weekend. So this is what we have so far. We have sunshine and clouds mixed, and we're going to have a high today of 68 degrees. It was the last hour, as I look back at the weather, because I like to stay track of the weather, it was somewhere around 71 degrees. But I guess now they changed that. We're going to have a high of 68 degrees, but who knows, maybe it'll throw us another curveball later on as the day wears on. Again, that's sunshine and clouds mixed together. We'll have a high 68 degrees. Winds will be east-southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. For tonight, we'll have cloudy skies. Expect mist and reduced visibility out there, so be careful driving. It'll happen at times. We'll have a low of 53 degrees. Winds will be east at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Looking forward to Saturday. We've got cloudy skies with occasional light rain in the afternoon. We'll have a high 67 degrees. Winds will be east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Chance of rain 60 degrees, 60%. I told you the best day is today. Today is the best day of the weather forecast in New York City. Moving on to Saturday night, cloudy with periods of rain, and we'll have potential heavy rain. Potential heavy rain. We'll have a low 56 degrees, and winds will be south-southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Chance of rain will be 100%. That's a guaranteed. Looks like it's a guarantee. Nothing's a guarantee because the weather tends to change sometime. But as it goes right now, 100% chance of rain. Rainfall around a half of an inch. So that's heavy-duty rain coming down. Okay, I told you. But here for Sunday, we've got sunshine and clouds. Sunshine and clouds mixed. But we'll have a slight chance of rain showers, and we'll have a high around 69 degrees. And winds will be west-northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. And repeating our current temperature, as I said, and as I repeated, we have 61 degrees outside. So those of you who are living in New York City, it looks like one of the days, the best day, as I say, is today, Friday. But maybe you could use Sunday, as sometimes you'll get some peekaboo sunshine, but there's always that chance of rain at the same time. But Sunday, you want to relax anyway. You know, you go through your weekend. Sunday is the day that you want to, relax and recoup for Monday when you have to go back to work. But that's the weather forecast today. Now, the rest of you, if you're going to chime in conversation, give us your weather forecast. I really would appreciate that. We would love to hear from you, and I would love to always meet and greet you. So if you're out there and you like to say hi, I don't bite, so you can be sure of that. Okay, so here we are once again on a Friday, and guys, excuse me again while I shoot up. We're getting set for the weekend. And I know a lot of you guys are doing the same thing. You're going to get set for whatever you're going to do. We're officially into spring, and pretty soon we're going to be into the summer months. And the weather, I don't know about where you are, maybe the weather in your area may be even warmer than it is over here, because depending on where you are, I know in Charlotte, North Carolina, where Brian Camp is, I'm pretty sure he has high temperatures over there. I'm not sure of the weather forecast. I could look it up, but I'll just bypass it for now. But I'm pretty sure, it's a little warmer out there. And you may be in California or someplace in Arizona or Nevada where it stays warm, where you're in the middle of the desert, and it gets warm out there. But for the rest of us who still are teeter-tottering with this weather, because it goes up and down before it stabilizes. And once again, into the summer month, we're going to have a lot of heat. Now, here in New York City, we're surrounded by water. So therefore, we get humidity, which is, oh God, I never complain about it at any rate. Anyway, thank you so much for being along with us in the entertainment world today. And I mentioned this last night on Talk Back Live. Ahmad Jamal, measured maestro of the jazz piano, died last Saturday. Oh, I'm sorry, last Sunday. He died last Sunday. And one of the greatest pianists, jazz pianists in the world. I know of him because I used to play his music when I was a jazz disc jockey. Back, as the kids say, back in the day. Anyway, he died last Sunday afternoon, and he died in Ashley Falls, Massachusetts. And that's after battling a prostate cancer. He had the trouble with his prostate cancer, and he was 92 years old. 92 years old. So we want to send our blessings and our thoughts out to the family, particularly the daughter who released this information this past week. So Ahmad Jamal, another link broken in the jazz entertainment field. Also, I play her records too. I used to play her records when I was an oldies DJ, when I had my show Music Beat. I used to play her records all the time. I'm talking about singer April Stevens. April Stevens died Monday in Phoenix, Arizona, at the age of 93. People live long. I love when people live a long time and a full life. 93 years old now. April Stevens was famous for that hit record back in 1961 called Deep Purple. And she sung that with Nino Tempo, who happens to be her brother. It was a brother and sister act. And so those of you who are my age, and maybe just slightly younger, remember that back in 1961, in the deep of the night, I think that's how the lyrics go, Deep Purple. Deep Purple. You can look it up on YouTube, where you'll find all kinds of music there as well. But that's April Stevens. And she was famous for other big hits that she had. Hits like I'm in Love Again, Give Me a Little Kiss. How about that? Will Ya, huh? That's another one. And Teach Me Tiger, which I happen to like pretty much. She did that solo. So April Stevens, of course, all of our thoughts and prayers go out to her family, particularly her brother. And I'm pretty sure her brother is going through a time now. They were so close, I understood. And that her brother not only sung with her, but he was a solo position in his own right. I think he was a writer. I believe he was a writer. And he played the saxophone. So he was a full-fledged musician. So there you go. You have all of that going on. It's now 17 minutes past the hour in your area. We thank you for being along in our place called the Coffee Hour for this Friday. And I'm pretty sure heard, we've had a lot of things going on in the news and a lot of sad things going on in the news. Kansas City, Missouri, Ralph Euro. Let me explain to you about Ralph Euro. He was a Black 16-year-old teenager, and he was shot by an 84-year-old homeowner by the name of Andrew Lester. And Ralph Euro went to the wrong home to pick up his siblings. And that's how he got shot, because this guy, Andrew Lester, picked up his gun. Because, and you know something, these deaths happen, and I'm gonna be giving you more. And these were accidental situations. Accidentally walked up to the wrong door to pick up his siblings. The siblings were 11 years old. He's 16, and he twin siblings, 11 years old. He went to pick them up and knocked on the wrong door, and he got shot. And Lester, the perpetrator, Andrew Lester, pleaded not guilty. He turned himself in early in the week, and he pleaded not guilty in court. He pleaded not guilty to a first-degree assault and armed criminal action. And guess what? He was released on a $2,000 bond. He was released, So we're not talking about alleged shooting. He got shot. This kid got shot. Fortunately, Ralph Euro is out of the hospital now. He's at home recuperating, and he looks good, I may say, because his father posted a picture, released a photo of him and his son sitting together, and you could see Ralph Euro with that nice smile on his face. and he had a chance to talk to the president. The president gave him a call, and so he's doing fine right now. We're going to have to check on, we keep close tabs. I want to keep close tabs on Andrew Lester. You know, $2,000 bond. He's out now. That means he's out. I'm pretty sure there's a trial coming up. Hey, here's more. Here's more. We're going upstate New York. 20-year-old Allan Gillis was shot by another perpetrator, but this was an accidental thing going on. Accidental. This lady was with her girlfriends, and they were in the car. She was a passenger in the car that her girlfriend was driving, and her girlfriend accidentally drove up to the wrong driveway. And this man, 65-year-old Kevin Monahan, came out and fired 2 shots at the girls. And right from his porch, 2 shots, just because they moved up to the wrong driveway. What could happen? We all make mistakes. Every day we make mistakes. These days we have to watch the mistakes we make. And so 2 shots were fired. 2 shots were fired from his porch. And he went to court. They have him in court, right? He was in court. He's in jail right now because he tried to plead not guilty to murder. Yes, I did say murder because poor Allan Gillis is dead now. And so this man, Kevin Monahan, faces 2nd-degree murder charges. And that's what he's up, and he's still in jail right now. And I'm not so sure why Andrew Lester is not in jail. Andrew Lester, of course, I've seen images of him on the news walking into the courtroom with crutches or a cane, you know, just hopping along on his cane. I don't know if the way he looked, I don't know if it was an act. I'm not going to swear to it, you know, but he was strong enough to pick up that rifle and shoot those kids. High school cheerleader Peyton Washington and 3 other girls, 3 of her friends on the cheerleading squad, was shot by a stranger in a parking lot outside of a grocery store. Washington is still in ICU. She got shot. She's in ICU. She's still recovering, but she's doing very well so far. As a matter of fact, she's talking to people. She's breathing on her own. She's even going on FaceTime with her friends. Now she has, or would have been if this situation didn't happen, would have been in a competition Saturday. But her friends are going to carry it for her and they're going to do one for the Gipper. They're going to do one in her honor. And so anyway, they got shot. They were being shot at. Here's another accident. They accidentally approached the wrong car. They went into the wrong car. And the person that was in that car was a person by the name of Pedro Tello Rodriguez Jr. Got out of the car and opened fire on the girls. He later was arrested. I don't know how this happened in Texas. I don't know if it was in Elgin or Austin, but according to this, it's Elgin, Texas, where it happened. But we're going to keep our fingers crossed from her. Just there's too many shootings. And I'm not finished. I'm not finished. Here's another one that's heartbreaking too. They're all heartbreaking, but this one is the most. In North Carolina, a 6-year-old girl by the name of Kinsley White and her parents were shot. And they were only trying to retrieve a basketball that rolled into a nearby yard. And her dad was shot as well. Her dad is in the hospital at this particular time. And, you know, I saw the footage of the girl asked the question that no child should ask at all. You know, why did they do this? Why would someone shoot my dad or shoot some child's father? You know, we have to answer for that. We have to give her an answer for that. We don't know why, but there has to be an answer for why even these people with guns just do what they want to do. Just open fire. Just get out there and open fire. All right. Anyway, the dad is still in the hospital. The man at large is Robert Singletary. All right. I'm putting his name out there. I'm putting all these names out there. Robert Singletary. He is considered armed and extremely dangerous. And he lived in the neighborhood not too long, but I understand that he took off somewhere, and I don't know at this particular point, I don't know if they have captured him. I'm pretty confident that they will. And so, you know, these are so many, these mass shootings, and every week we talk about these mass shootings every week. It seems like it's every day. And last week I was talking about a mass shooting. The week before I was talking about a mass shooting. It's all over the media. I never, since I've been doing this show, had reported 3, or what did I say, 4 mass shootings here, 4 shootings within this week, you know, and no one is saying anything about it. Politicians don't say anything about it. I've yet to hear anything. People crying over other things, but they're not crying over these kids that got shot. And those 9-year-old kids that got shot with in the school, which of course is supposed to be a safe haven for kids when their parents take them to school. Back in my day, when I was going to school was a safe haven. Your parents didn't have to worry about it. You know, now there's metal detectors and everything in the schools, and it's not safe anymore. It got to the point where your own apartment is not even safe anymore. So you have to say your prayers before you go to bed, make sure that you wake up and you're in good shape when you do. But those are the situations right there. And if you want to talk more about that, I'll be glad to talk to you more about that. If you want to join that in conversation, I would be glad to talk to you more about that. Right now, we're overdue right now, so I want to get to sports. Brian Camp, as I said, normally comes from Charlotte, North Carolina, but he's not here today. So I am going to give you what he gave me. And so let's get started right now. Let's talk about Major League Baseball. New York Mets and versus the San Francisco Giants for 4 games, for a 4-game series, and other key matchups. And you can check your local listings for that. Also, NBA playoffs continue with this. With last evening, they had a game, but you know, you check all of these NBA games on ESPN and NBA TV and TNT for scheduling times. Okay, going to the NFL, a little good news after reporting bad news. NFL, if you remember, just over 3.5 months ago, after suffering cardiac arrest, Damar Hamlin collapsed and laid on a football field in Cincinnati and sat in a Buffalo Bills facility. And now officially he's announcing, or he has announced, that he has plans to making a comeback to the NFL. That sounds like good news, and it's done after being fully cleared from his doctors. And so he's ready to run back and do the thing on the football field once again. But the remarkable achievement of going from suffering cardiac arrest to national TV and returning to the workouts with his teammates is just the next chapter in Hamlin's journey. So we look forward to seeing Mr. Hamlin back on the field. His doctors cleared him. They say he's okay. So we're going to see what happens. I'm pretty sure they're going to continue to monitor him. And I'm pretty sure when he goes on the field for the first time since that heart attack or that cardiac arrest, he's going to have it in the back of his mind. And so we just keep our fingers crossed for him. But it's nice to see him back, and nice to see him back on the football field. Quite frankly, I thought it was going to take a little longer than this, but the doctor cleared him. And so the doctor says it's okay. So we will see him soon. Okay, April 20th, that was last night, April 20th. Back then, this is history here. On the day, April 20th, in 1912, Fenway Park officially opens with the Boston Red Sox. They defeated the New York Highlanders, who are now the New York Yankees, defeated them 7-6. Back in 1912, Tiger Stadium in Detroit opens, and the Tigers defeated Cleveland Indians. They were known then, and they beat them 6-5. And in 1916, back then, as they were called, the Chicago White Cubs The Chicago White Cubs. I didn't know that. And that's what it says here. I'm going to have to look that up on my own. Chicago White Cubs. And back in 1960, the first game at Wigman Park, which turned to Wrigley Field, and they defeated Cincinnati Reds 7-6. Back in 1946 or 1943, 1943, Braves manager Casey Stengel is struck by a taxi and fractures a leg. Back in 1944, on that day, April 20th, NFL legalizes coaching from the bench. In 1986, Michael Jordan sets NBA playoff records with 63 points in a game. In 1990, Pete Rose pleads guilty to hiding a $300,000 income tax. And a birthday. Yesterday, I would believe is April 20th. Yesterday, 1961, Don Mattingly of the New York Yankees, a great Yankee player and a manager, was born on that day in Evansville, Indiana. In 1971, Allan Houston from the NBA guard of the New York Knicks, was born in Louisville, Kentucky. And on this day, April 21st, today is April 21st, on this day in 1925, no baseball games were played due to Charles Ebbert's funeral. And Charles Ebbert is the namesake of Ebbets Field. Ebbets Field was named after Charles Ebbert, but so they didn't play any baseball games that day because of his funeral. That was back in 1925. On this day, in 1967, Dodgers' first rainout in Los Angeles after 737 consecutive games. In 1989, George W. Bush and Edward W. Rose becomes joint CEOs of the Texas Rangers. And in 1990, on this day, National League umpire is arrested for stealing baseball cards. And a birthday on today celebrating a birthday. Back in 1951, Tony Danza was born. Now you would want to know, what does Tony Danza have to do with sports? Well, Tony Danza does have something to do with sports. Tony Danza was once a boxer, right? Anyway, he's celebrating a birthday. Tony Danza, also an actor. He played in Taxi. He played on Who's the Boss and other things that he did. And he was born in my hometown of Brooklyn, New York. And weddings in 1991, Olympic gold winner Bruce Jenner married who is now Caitlyn Jenner, got married to Chris Kardashian in Bel Air, California. And that's this day in sports. And we want to thank Brian for giving us that information. Brian, as you already know, has already told you, has taken the day off. He will be back next week. He was off last night too, so he couldn't do Talk Back Live, but he will be back next week. And wherever you are, Brian, I hope you're having a good time. And we're going to continue the show. And if you're just joining us, it's now 10:33. That's 10:33 our time. But it's 33 minutes past the hour, wherever you are. My name is Frank Allen, and the name of the show is called The Coffee Hour. And of course, we thank you so much for being along with us. Okay, once again, those of you who are watching us on Facebook, tag your friends. What's left of the show, we want them involved in it. Tag your friends right now. Let them know that we're here. They'll see you when you display that information. And of course, we will be obliged to have them along, so if they like what they see, like what they hear, and possibly they'll come in every week just like you. Okay, so there you go. And we have gotten so many things, communications from people telling us about the show, and you can do the same thing, ladies and gentlemen. You can be part of the action. Send us feedback about the show. We would love to hear from you. Wherever you are. Don't forget, we're all around the world, so you get a chance to do that. You get a chance to feedback with us. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Fox News, as you already know. Oh boy, Fox News, good old Fox News. Fox News went to court, right? Rupert Murdoch took the stand, and you already know about that. You already know the situation of Fox News, so I'm not going to make a broad thing out of it because you already heard it in the news. They were in court, and at this particular time, initially they were supposed to be sued. Dominion is the voting system, and they are suing Fox News for false statements. Of course, they do that all the time, and false statements about the voting situation. And so they settled in court. Initially, the charge, or I would say the penalty, or whatever they're supposed to pay out, they were going to be sued initially for $1.6 million. Is that $1.6 million, or was it the other way around? $6.1 billion. $6.1 billion. And so they settled in court. Now, initially, the court was supposed to get started. They were supposed to get underway Monday, this past Monday, because they had all weekend to think about it. And over the weekend, they decided that, okay, we're not going to do it Monday because we want to talk to both sides for a possibility of a settlement, And so they reconvened on Tuesday. And that's when we got the news, came out on the news. No one knew about it, came out on the news. And now Fox will be paying Dominion $770.5 million. And this case is not over what I'm hearing now. This case is not over at all. They're still waiting. They're still waiting around, and they're still trying to figure out, what's going to be further. They're going to try to figure out as time goes on if Fox News and the employees, or as they say, their stars, their talent, will change their ways, the errors of their ways, and no more conspiracy theories. No more of that. Let's see what happens. We don't know about that. We'll see what happens. But anyway, that's the situation right now. And the beat goes on because there's more talk about it. I think there are other charges that are about to be made. And Rupert Murdoch, of course, as I said, he was on the stand, but they yield. As some people say, some people would say they sold out. I don't know. They said some people would say that. But you get the idea on, and when I say time and time again, when you listen to the news or any of the news that comes up, and before you get a chance to process it all, something else comes up. And I know a lot of news anchors, and I've heard a lot of news anchors over time were saying, well, I'm really tired of this. I'm tired of this. I am so tired of this. I've had it with this. Everyone says it. And I'm tired of talking about it. Not that they're tired of their job, because every day when they come into work, it's the same story over and over and over and over and over. Nothing new in the news. Every once in a while, something news, but it's a lot of tragic news, like a storm or something, it gets more tragic. And every once in a while, you look forward to a little good news. The news is not like it was before, where it used to variety of things. You had human interest news, all of that went out the door, for the past few years. But keep in mind that the people on the air that you watch, the anchors and the reporters, they're not tired of their jobs. They're just tired of reporting this stuff. And frankly, I say to myself every now and then, something, maybe I should have stayed in radio, just play records. And this way I don't have to deal with this. I don't have to listen to this. And then you may say, okay, it's your show. You don't have to talk about it at all. But the point is that you do have to talk about it. You do have to talk about it, because if you don't talk about it, what happens? It gets swept under the rug. It gets swept under the rug. You have parents who are now protesting now for gun safety. And let's say, for instance, in Kansas City, Kansas City, Missouri, where Ralph got shot. Kansas City, Missouri, Ralph Euro, where he got shot. Some big protests, and moms are protesting. Moms from all over in Kansas City, Missouri. These kids are afraid to go back to school. They're terrified. They don't want to go back to school, and you really can't blame them. You really can't blame them, because this is a gun culture now. And so everyone now is just waiting to see what it's going to be. We're going to move along. We'll come back for more of this. And if you want to chime in on conversation, you can do the same thing too. The name of the show is called The Coffee Hour. And it's that time right now. DJ Pete is not with us, but he left us information on his portion of his show. This is the second part of the 2020 feature. So let's get started right now. April 16th, 1929, Roy Hamilton. Do you guys know who Roy Hamilton is? Roy Hamilton was a R&B singer, and sometimes he had that gospel singer, that gospel flavor when he sang, and he had a great voice, and he could have been an opera singer just like Jackie Wilson. Anyway, he is celebrating, he had celebrated his birthday on the 16th of April. He was born in 1929, and he died very young. He died July 20th in 1969 at the age of 40 years old. And what a voice he had. An all-American singer, all-American boy, clean cut. One of those guys, he was one of those guys that you could put him in the movie. He had that handsome face, Roy Hamilton. And he was famous for a lot of his hits. For those of you who go back that far, remember when he did hits like You Can Have Her, I Don't Want Her, songs like Eptide. He did Eptide. He did his version of Eptide. And so many other great hits, but he had a short career, and he had a short life too, 40 years old, Roy Hamilton. Let's move right along, and let's see. Now we have Rudy Pompelli, the same day, was born on the same day, but only in 1924. He was born earlier than Roy Hamilton. Now, he may not be a household name to you, but his name was Rudolph Clement Pompelli. Rudolph Clement Pompelli. And he was born April 16th, 1924. He passed away February 5th, 1976. And he was an American musician, best known for playing the tenor saxophone, along with Bill Haley and the Comets. You guys remember Bill Haley and the Comets. So he was the saxophone player with that group. And he was usually credited under the spelling of Rudy Pompelli. That's what they called him then. And so there you go. So that he celebrated his birthday on the 16th as well, along with Roy Hamilton. Okay, Chuck Higgins on the 17th of April in 1924. Chuck Higgins, he was born on this day in 1924, and Charles William Higgins, Chuck Higgins, and he passed away September 14th, 1999. Was an American saxophonist. Higgins relocated from his birthplace in Gary, Indiana, to Los Angeles, California, and he was in his teens when that happened. And he also played trumpet, all-around musician, maybe not as talented as Sammy Davis Jr., because Sammy Davis Jr. played just about every instrument in the world you could name. You name it, he played it. Okay, here's someone that I know of very, very well. Didn't know him personally, but know of him, and a lot of you probably remember him. Don Kirshner. Remember he had his show, Don Kirshner Rock, I think it was called a Rock Hour or something like that, rock show, something like that. Anyway, he was born April 17th in 1934. And Don Kirshner passed away January 17th, 2011 at the age of 76 years old. Now, Don Kirshner rock concert, that's what it was. Don Kirshner rock concert. He was a big promoter and a publisher, and brought all of those shows, all of those acts together. And if I could remember, Don Kirshner rock concert, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, used to come on Fridays. So I believe it used to come on Friday. If it wasn't that, it was the midnight special. Anyway, Don Kirshner was a big promoter, publisher, and had all of his groups on his show. He never appeared on the shows, but managed to get all of those named people on the show. And we move right along, April 18th. Gatemouth Brown. Gatemouth Brown, I remember him. Now, Gatemouth Brown, how he got that name, heaven only knows. But he was an American singer and a multi-instrumentalist. And he was from Louisiana. He was born in Louisiana. And he won a Grammy Award for the Best Traditional Blues album in 1983 for his album, All Right Again. And I'm pretty sure that it says here how he got the nickname Gatemouth Brown, but there's just too many things to go through. I have to move the show along. But he would have been celebrating his birthday today. Of course, he would have been celebrating his birthday today. And as we move along, we go on. Let's see, what else can we find here? Okay, let's see. Okay. Here's another one. Ray Campi. This Campi, I don't think he's any relation to Brian Camp. April 20th, 1934. Ray Campi. And let's see. Ray Campi, full name was Raymond Charles Campi, and he was born, as I said, April 20th, 1934. He died March 11th, 2021, at the age of 86 years old. And Ray Campi was an American singer and musician, nicknamed the King of Rockabilly. So now we know what he does. He played rockabilly, and his first recording was in the mid-50s. Campi trademarked as the white double bass. Trademarked as the white double bass, which he often jumped on the top of the bass. White playing. I don't know what white playing means. That's what it says here. Anyway, he would have been celebrating his birthday, and so happy birthday. And we move right along. Johnny Fuller. Johnny Fuller was born April 20th, 1929. Let's find out who Johnny Fuller is. Johnny Fuller was a professional, an American football player. Okay, this has to do with sports. All right, but he's celebrating a birthday. Brian, if you're watching, maybe you want to look this guy up. Johnny Fuller. And he was an American football player, and he played 8 seasons as a safety in the National Football League and the San Francisco 49ers he played. Now, when did he, let's see, Johnny Fuller was 77 years old. Well, he said he was born, he's 77, and he's still around, according to this. He's still around. Johnny Fuller's still around. He's 77 years old. He was born March. According to this, he was born in March, but I'm not sure where DJ Pete got this information. But this is what I got here, April 20th. So we're going to bypass that. I'm going to ask DJ Pete if he could be more accurate with the birthdays. Okay. April 20th, I know this is accurate. Lionel Hampton was celebrating a birthday. He was born 1908. Lionel Hampton, a jazz vibraphonist. And he was the best. And what a great guy he was, an awfully great guy. He played jazz, and I know he appeared on one of Allan Freed movies. He played percussions, and he was a band leader too, Lionel Hampton. And we used to call him the Hamp. And I had a personal experience with Lionel Hampton. I had a chance to meet him twice, once in person and another one through telephone. And the one in person, I walked up to him and I shook his hand and I just told him how, fascinated I was to meet him and how much I admire his music over the years. And he gave me the second time around, we got together. It wasn't on a personal basis. We did it by telephone, did an interview. And what happened is that I didn't know he was in the hospital. And I called up and they said, Lionel Hampton is in the hospital, but I'll give you the phone number. I said, okay, no, that's okay. No, he said, take the phone number and call. So I said, okay, I'll call. And someone picked up the phone, and maybe it was a manager or a relative or something, I'm not sure. And I said, identified myself, and I said, I just was wondering if I was able to do an interview, if we could set up an interview at a later time when Lionel is feeling better. And she said to me, oh, no, he would love to talk to you right now. And I said, no, I let him rest, let him take it easy when he comes out and we could set up something. And before I knew it, I heard, hello? And I said, is this Mr. Hampton? He said, yeah. And I said, I didn't want to disturb you because I know that you're resting up. And he says, no, baby, talk. He's called me baby. He said, no, baby, talk. And I said, okay, fine. And we managed to do an interview. I didn't want to go as far more than 20 minutes of the interview. So I did like a 20-minute interview with him, and then later rebroadcast it on my radio show. And he was so kind and so generous with his time for that little bit of time. So that's how I remember Lionel Hampton. Lionel Hampton, one of the greatest in the jazz field of all time, Lionel Hampton. Okay, and speaking of jazz, we've got Charles Mingus. Charles Mingus, born April 22nd, 1922. Charles Mingus, also in jazz. Charles, one of the greatest bassists. He played bass, one of the greatest of all time with his bass. And Charles passed away in Mexico. He passed away in Mexico. He passed away January 5th, 1979, and he was only 56 years old. He was a young man, 56 years old. Today, 56 years old is very young these days. But I recognized Charles Mingus. I played his records and loved him. So happy birthday on the 22nd. Also on the 22nd, Bull Moose Jackson. Bull Moose Jackson. Let's find out who Bull Moose Jackson is. Bull Moose Jackson was born April 22nd, 1919. We get that right? 1919. Yes, that was right. DJ Pete got that right. 1919. And so let's see. Okay. Mr. Jackson was an American blues and rhythm and blues singer and saxophonist who was the most successful in the late 40s. So we want to say happy birthday to Bull Moon Jackson. And what a time we have. DJ Pete has a lot of stuff. We're going to get right through the rest of it. We're going to breeze right through the Glenn Campbell, country singer Glenn Campbell, celebrating a birthday today, the late Glenn Campbell. Glenn Campbell was born April 22nd as well, which, by the way, will be tomorrow, April 22nd, tomorrow. And Glenn Campbell, also, he passed away August 8th in 2017. He died at the age of 81 years old. I also had a chance to meet Glenn Campbell myself. So happy birthday, Glenn Campbell, wherever you are. And finally, Peter Frampton is celebrating a birthday. Peter Frampton is 73 years old today. And well, tomorrow, actually. Peter Frampton, one of the greatest rockers of all time. Peter Frampton. Happy birthday to Peter Frampton. That's going to do it for that. And thank you, DJ Pete, for that information of the recitals of the birthdays, and that's entertainment news as part of the 2020 feature. I'm going to move along to the movies right now. And those of you who love movies, I have them for you. I have, but before I get to the movies, let me tell you about the birthdays of today. Birthdays, Nicole Sullivan, who played on Kings of Queens, comedian, actress. She's 53 years old today. Actress Andy McDowell is 65 years old. Tony Danza, I mentioned, is 72. Rocker Iggy Pop is 76 years old today. And the following people are no longer with us. Jazz musician Pee Wee Ellis would have been 82. Queen Elizabeth II would have been 97. And actor Anthony Quinn would have been 108 years old. Happy birthday to each and every one of them. Okay, let's get to the movies right now. Now, I have picks of the week, which I do each week, right? I have my picks of the week. And of course, we always do that. Now, movies that you may like, movies that you want to catch up on, I just want to add these to them. So let's get started right away with this. Let's start off Bonnie and Clyde from 1967, starring Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway. And you can check that out on Turner Classic Movies. That's on Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And following, we have The Exorcist. The Exorcist back in 1973, movie of the macabre. And that starred Ellen Burstyn along with Linda Blair. And that's on Turner Classic Movies. You can check that Saturday night at 8:30 p.m., at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. A Warm December, 1973, the year for this one, with Sidney Poitier and Esther Anderson. That's on Turner Classic Movies. That's on Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern. And if you don't get a chance to watch it, you don't want to wake up that early on a Sunday, or if you have to wake up that early on a Sunday, you want to go to church, DVR it, and watch it at your very own time convenience. Okay, Superman, 1978 with Christopher Reeve. This is the first Superman with Christopher Reeve on Turner Classic Movies. That's also on Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And since we're on the realm of superheroes, is Batman from 1989 with Michael Keaton, Kim Basinger, and Jack Nicholson. All on Turner Classic Movies at Sunday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. And those are what we have, the movies. Now, you could also go on Turner Classic Movies and scroll down. You could still scroll down and watch all of those other movies, right? Because there may be other movies on Turner Classic Movies that you may look at and say, well, he didn't mention that. That's only because it wasn't my pick. That doesn't mean I don't like them. That only means that you can go through it and you could DVR them as well as DVR some of the ones I just mentioned here and watch them at your own time convenience. You have a lot of movies to choose from. You want to go on movies, the free movies, you want movie on demand, you see all the free movies from A to Z, you'll see them all right there. And they're classic movies, sometimes from 1930s up to the 1920s and 1970s and 50s, whatever. You have it all there, a mix of movies. They change every once in a while so they can put other movies there. But movies that you have forgotten, have been long forgotten, maybe possibly there. And since you're there on Movie on Demand, you might want to see some of the paid movies, pay-per-view movies, movies that are out in the theater right now as we speak, and movies that were just in the theater, but you know, they linger on there. You could watch those pay-per-view. Obviously, the ones that are in the theater right now, you'll pay more for it, but the pay-per-view there is for the movies that are not in the theater, but you still have to pay for them. I think they're no more than $7, somewhere in that nature. But you get a chance to see that and a whole lot more. Documentaries and sports and all of the networks are there. Check them all out. They're right there. So let me quickly go through these movies once again for you. Bonnie and Clyde with Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway. That's Turner Classic Movie Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. The Exorcist with Ellen Burstyn and Linda Blair. That's Turner Classic Movies. That's on Saturday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. A Warm December with Sidney Poitier and Esther Anderson, Turner Classic Movies Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Superman with Christopher Reeve, 1978. That's on Turner Classic Movies Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And finally, Batman with Michael Keaton, Kim Basinger, and Jack Nicholson, Turner Classic Movies Sunday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Check out all the movies. I think you'll like them, and I hope you do. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up for me. I hope you had a wonderful time enjoying the show. I enjoy doing them as usual. We're going to be back here next Thursday. Next Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern for Talk Back Live. Brian Camp will be along with me with sports update, the latest developments in today's world of sports. And of course, I hope that you'll be here too. Other than that, back here next Friday at 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. Eastern for more of the coffee hour with Brian Camp and of course, DJ Pete. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, have yourself a great weekend and a great day, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
You've been watching The Coffee Hour with your host Frank Allan. The producer has been Al Dale. Technical assistant Dave Taylor. Research by Sandy Pierce. And I'm your announcer Donna Stenke. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time on The Coffee Hour.